We learned the names of 2 people killed in a boat crash on Lake Greenwood. South Carolina DNR says an Alumacraft boat with 5 people on board was hit from behind by a Yamaha boat. It happened just before 2 yesterday morning. The Lawrence County coroner says Thomas Davis and Abby Davis died at the scene. They were from Lawrence. 2 others were taken to the hospital. The driver of the Yamaha faces 2 counts of felony boating under the influence. We're waiting for confirmation of the suspect's name. Developing a person of interest is in custody after an early morning shooting south of Greenville. Deputies say they were called to Augusta Road Apartments around 7 a.m. That's south of I-85. We're told a man was found shot inside a car in front of the apartment complex. He was taken to a hospital. We don't know his condition. The sheriff's office says they've detained 1 person, but there's no word on any charges.
It is 6:04. Developing now, a death investigation is underway in Union. The sheriff's office says deputies were called to Monroe Street, just north of East Main Street, after 2 a.m. on the morning of 4th of July. We're told that's where they found a woman dead. The Union County coroner has identified her as 52-year-old Pamela Morgan. There's no word on any suspects.
Deputies say a woman was found dead early Friday morning in Union County. Authorities from the Union County Sheriff's Office responded to Monroe Street just before 2:30 a.m. on July the 4th. Investigators say they found 52-year-old Pamela Morgan dead inside of a vehicle when they arrived. Details are still limited tonight, but the sheriff's and coroner's offices are investigating. Also breaking in Anderson County, the coroner says a man was shot and killed in Easley overnight. The Anderson County Sheriff's Office says they received reports of multiple shots fired after an altercation at a home on Colonial Drive. It happened just after midnight. Authorities say 44-year-old Clyde Davis III was shot multiple times. The coroner says Davis died at the scene. Investigators say it appears to be an isolated incident. We begin with breaking news tonight. Deputies say a woman was found dead early Friday morning in Union County. Authorities from the Union County Sheriff's Office say they responded to Monroe Street just before 2:30 a.m. on July the 4th. Investigators say they found a woman dead inside of a vehicle when they arrived. Details are limited at this hour, but the sheriff and coroner's offices are investigating. A heads up for drivers. Expect to see some more law enforcement on the roads this weekend. 7 News' Lauren Miller explains why troopers say it's all hands on deck.
Police will be patrolling all weekend, but South Carolina State Highway Patrol says drivers should expect to see the increase on the 4th and the 5th.
It's all hands on deck.
Master Trooper Brendan Bolt says they're looking for speeding and reckless driving, and they typically see more people out on the 5th.
Today is everybody's usually at their destination. So Friday is usually that travel day, Thursday evening leading up to the fireworks were all shot yesterday. Most people are camping. So everybody's going to be out and about on Saturday because it's the one full day they usually don't have to work, plus Sunday.
South Carolina Highway Patrol says last year there were 9 deaths on South Carolina roadways during the 4th of July travel period. 5 of those deaths involved a driver who was under the influence of alcohol and or drugs. So drivers should expect to see more DUI checkpoints.
Every gray uniform is out and about. No one's got the holiday off this weekend because it's that busy. So there's going to be a stepped up enforcement, saturations in certain areas that are our problem areas. We're also going to have more road checks tonight as we get on into the evening.
Lauren Spees says he's taken notice.
Today I drove down here to Columbia, and there have been quite a few police officers, and I saw some pulling over somebody. The GPS seemed to be going off more frequently than usual.
And Brian Litton, who's traveling from Myrtle Beach to Asheville, says he feels safer with more police on the road.
People are in such a big hurry, and it seems like when there's more traffic, people try to drive even faster to get where they're going, which makes it dangerous on the highways for everybody. We saw 3 accidents, and then the police were on the scene.
South Carolina Highway Patrol is also emphasizing the move over law. If you see EMS or law enforcement in an emergency lane, the law requires you to reduce your speed significantly. Lauren Miller, 7 News.
Authorities are reminding drivers to slow down and obey speed limits. Troopers say it was a contributing factor to 1 out of every 4 crashes during last year's 4th of July weekend in South Carolina. New tonight, as we wind down the 4th of July holiday weekend, most people are packing up and headed home now. 7 News' Lauren Miller spoke with some drivers who say they're surprised the roads weren't as busy.
AAA projected the 4th of July would be yet again another record-breaking travel period. But we spoke with people at the pump and the airport who said they did not notice the influx of people.
Not a lot, no, not like it usually is.
This holiday weekend, AAA projected about 72.2 million Americans would be traveling, a 2.2% increase from last year's numbers, crediting the long weekend because the 4th fell on a Friday. However, some travelers said they were shocked it was not more congested, like Ronald Wilson, who is driving around every day this weekend.
Traffic, I think, has been pretty cleared out.
Okay. Did that surprise you at all?
Yeah, because we figured it'd be heavy, just being the 4th.
It's something Anthony Giannetti was surprised about, too.
Usually the traffic is horrible, but I noticed this weekend it's not as bad. Traveling locally, I did not go on the highway, but locally going downtown yesterday took about 12-15 minutes, which usually takes longer during rush hour, so roads aren't as busy.
Giannetti and Wilson were not the only people who noticed when traveling this weekend. A spokesperson from the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport says they see an influx of people during the summertime, typically beginning around May. However, we're told this 4th of July weekend was no busier than a typical weekend.
My brother flew to Italy, and he had no issues, so I don't know.
GSP adds that summertime is one of its busiest times of the year, and with more people, travelers can expect potentially longer lines. In Greenville, Lauren Miller, 7 News.
And AAA says it sees most trouble with some flat tires and dead car batteries during this time of year. They urge travelers to check before further issues.
It was a national news story earlier this year. A pregnant, brain-dead woman in Georgia was kept on life support to allow the fetus to grow.
Now an upstate doula care service is holding a summit to educate and support mothers to help them know their rights and to prevent higher maternal death rates in Black women. 7 News' Christine Scarpelli is in Spartanburg with the latest.
Birth Matters is the organization here in Spartanburg County, and they are working to combat those scary numbers we're seeing in African American women. Mom Safari Hackett was in high school, looking at colleges to attend out of state, when life took an unexpected turn.
I was a teen mom with my first son. I didn't know a lot about pregnancy, the process. I didn't know a lot about myself.
She feared childbirth and breastfeeding, but doula services in Spartanburg came alongside Hackett to care for her mental, physical, and emotional needs.
She listened to me. I was scared, and I think everybody was putting the pressure of being a mom on me instead of listening to my emotional state and kind of how I felt about becoming a mom.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Black women are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women. The CDC says inconsistent quality of health care and underlying chronic conditions are to blame. Also, social factors prevent racial and ethnic minority groups from having fair opportunities for economic, physical, and emotional health. Executive Director of Birth Matters, Amber Pendergraft, says they're holding a health summit in Spartanburg to help.
The women that look like me, not knowing about their options, their rights, not being heard in those birthing spaces. And once you have a doula is like your guide.
It's an advocate for the mother, able to explain medical jargon, connect mothers with doctors, and make a birth plan. Birth Matters also connects moms with local services like yoga. There are chiropractic sessions at Spartanburg County's Sherman College, even therapy sessions for moms, and doulas tackling depression, anxiety, discovering undiagnosed mood disorders, often at no cost.
Maybe you currently are not experiencing depression, but you had depression maybe in the past. Well, now you are at a higher risk of developing postpartum depression. So let's start working through that early.
Hackett says the support she got as a first-time mom was so helpful, she decided to become a doula herself at Birth Matters.
I want to be the person that is there with the moms. I want to be in the stand-in space with them.
They encourage women of all ages to attend and be prepared to help support moms and advocate for their health. The Healthy Beginnings Summit will be right here at Wofford College, July 19th. They do ask that you sign up ahead of time. You can find out more information at WSPA.com. In Spartanburg County, Christine Scarpelli, 7 News.